Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the latest updates and hidden truths about Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and her royal circle. Today's revelation is not just news, it's pure royal drama, shaking the palace to its core. King Charles and Princess Anne have finally broken their silence over Camilla's questionable moves, and what they said behind closed doors has everyone talking. According to a well-placed insider, things got heated inside Buckingham Palace during a meeting with senior royals. For the first time, Charles and Anne openly dropped some shocking words aimed directly at Camilla, words that left those in the room stunned. The source revealed that Charles suddenly stood up, opened the door and declared, "We spoke about where we were going and where we weren't going." His tone wasn't casual, it carried a warning. This wasn't just another family disagreement, it was a dramatic turn that has the entire royal household buzzing with disbelief. Princess Anne stood firmly at her brother's side as the announcement echoed through the palace halls, leaving everyone in shock. "We can't keep this truth buried any longer." What kind of hidden scandal could shake the very foundation of the British monarchy? The whispers inside those palace walls are growing louder every single day, and now the weight of devotion, heritage, and duty are colliding in ways nobody expected. This revelation could flip everything we thought we knew upside down, from secret conversations whispered behind velvet curtains to shocking behaviors that shatter royal protocol. Get your tea ready, because this confession isn't staying locked away. It's about to spread across headlines worldwide, and once it does, nothing in the monarchy will ever look the same again. Beyond the glittering palace gates lies a world that's far more raw and emotional than anyone imagines. Behind the diamonds, the grand banquets, and the endless photo ops, there's a storm of secrets, personal battles, and messy truths waiting to explode. The glossy, picture-perfect image of royal life hides a reality full of tension, whispers, and dangerous gossip. One unforgettable night, deep inside those legendary palace gates where tradition rules like iron, something happened that would shake Buckingham Palace, and maybe even leave its mark on history itself. This wasn't just a small slip-up, it was the kind of event that sent shockwaves through the entire kingdom. The evening began as a glittering royal feast, with silk gowns brushing the floor, golden chandeliers lighting every corner, and nobles raising their glasses in carefully practiced toasts. But while laughter floated through the air and crystal cups clinked together, another gathering was taking place in the shadows, a secret meeting nobody in the banquet hall saw coming. At the very heart of it all stood Princess Anne, a woman celebrated for her sharp wit, unshakable calm, and powerful sense of duty. But on this night, she broke the polished silence of the room with a single remark, so cutting it sliced through the air like a blade. The crowd froze, jaws dropped, as the weight of her words transformed a glittering supper into a battlefield of whispers and stares. When Princess Anne turned to face Queen Camilla, her voice was steady, but her words carried thunder. "You are the Queen Consort, not the Queen," she declared with razor-sharp certainty. The room froze instantly. Glasses paused mid-air, conversations cut off, and for a moment it felt like even time itself stood still. Tourists and staff who caught the moment stared wide-eyed, unable to believe what they'd just witnessed. Those who truly knew Anne understood one thing: she never spoke unless the moment demanded it, and this moment was heavier than any before. This wasn't a petty dispute over titles or tradition. It was a bold stand rooted in loyalty, memory, and an unshakable promise. Anne had been one of the fiercest defenders of their late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and she wasn't about to let that legacy be rewritten. For years, Anne had quietly but firmly reminded those around her that Camilla should never rise beyond the role of Queen Consort. Her words that night weren't just defiance, they were a vow of devotion to the memory of the mother she had stood by so faithfully, even after death. A palace insider spilled that Anne didn't hold back when facing Camilla. Before the Queen even made her speech, Anne looked her straight in the eye and said, "You should continue to serve only as Queen Consort." That was her line in the sand, and she made sure everyone heard it. But the clash wasn't just about titles, it ran much deeper. Anne accused Camilla of overstepping, claiming she had grabbed more influence inside the royal circle than she was ever meant to. According to Anne, Camilla wasn't just fitting into the system, she was reshaping it, bending traditions, and slowly changing how the family itself functioned. In the past, Those who were unhappy kept their frustrations buried, smiling politely for the cameras. But now, the palace halls have turned into a silent battlefield, clashes fought not with words, but with icy glances, tight smiles, and tense conversations whispered in the shadows. King Charles found himself at a breaking point, a monarch torn between two powerful forces under his own roof. On one side stood his sister, Princess Anne, fiercely guarding their late mother's legacy like a shield. On the other side stood his wife, Queen Camilla, determined to carve out a new chapter for the monarchy, no matter the cost. The choice before Charles wasn't simple. It was the kind of decision that could tilt the balance of power inside the palace forever. And when he finally made it, insiders say the atmosphere was so heavy, it felt like the castle walls themselves trembled. This moment never reached the press, but those close to the royals know the truth. That night changed everything in ways that can't be undone. The supper ended, the glasses were cleared, but Anne's words didn't fade away. They still echo through the palace corridors with every passing day. And the question that lingers louder than ever is this: what gives Princess Anne such a fearless place within the royal family that she can stand face to face with Camilla and openly call her out? Let's take a closer look at Princess Anne's remarkable journey. A life shaped by duty, independence, and a fearless spirit. From the very beginning, Anne has been a trailblazer in the royal family, serving the people with an unmatched commitment that earned her the reputation of being the monarchy's most reliable cornerstone. Since the age of 18, she has attended over 20,000 official events, proving time and again that she is one of the hardest working royals in history. But Anne isn't just about tradition. She's also a rule breaker in her own way. She chose not to give her children royal titles, a bold move that instantly set her apart from the rest of the family. That decision alone branded her as a royal renegade, someone who values independence over privilege. Her honesty and sharp sense of humor have also made her a lightning rod for controversy. Back in 1982, when photographers crowded her space after an event, she famously snapped and told them to naff off, a moment that earned her the sarcastic nickname, her royal rudeness. The press painted her as dismissive and blunt, but Anne has always stood firm in her belief that royal duty is not about charm, it's about genuine service, and no matter how unfiltered she appears, her devotion has never been in question. Princess Anne's work has taken her far beyond palace walls, giving her first-hand knowledge of struggles across the globe. Through decades of dedication to save the children and countless other charities, she's proven herself to be a relentless champion for causes close to her heart. Her passion hasn't faded with time. If anything, she's only become more unstoppable. Between 2002 and 2022, Anne reportedly attended a staggering 11,088 events, more than any other royal during that entire period. That kind of record isn't just impressive, it cements her as the hardest-working member of the monarchy. It's no wonder that in the UK, people affectionately call her a national treasure, a title she's earned not just through her devotion, but also through her quirky, unmistakable sense of style. What makes Anne even more admired is her down-to-earth attitude. Unlike many royals who rely on fleets of staff, Anne often drives herself to engagements, greeting people directly with humility and warmth. Her unshakable commitment, combined with her grounded personality, has made her one of the most respected figures in modern royal history. Princess Anne has even made bold choices when it comes to how she connects with the public. During royal walkabouts, she famously avoids shaking hands. Not out of rudeness, but because she knows it would be impossible to greet every single person fairly. Instead, she offers her presence and conversation equally, a move that has only added to her no-nonsense reputation. Her wardrobe tells its own story too, making her a fashion icon in her own right. Anne's style is practical yet striking, often leaning toward British brands and classic pieces inspired by her lifelong love of horse riding. She's also a rule breaker when it comes to royal fashion traditions, confidently stepping out in military uniforms and bold jewellery at formal occasions. But Anne's impact goes beyond what she wears. She holds an important place in the fashion world as the patron of the United Kingdom Fashion and Textile Association. Through this role, she actively supports and promotes the UK fashion industry, proving that her influence stretches from palace halls to global runways. Anne's strength and blunt honesty shine through no matter the setting, even when her sharp edges draw public attention. She has never been one to bend or back down, always standing firm in what she believes. Whether it's working to make sailing more accessible for people with disabilities or championing causes like the National Lighthouse Museum, she continues to be admired for her relentless drive. Even when controversy touched her personally, like in 2002 when she was convicted over a dog being dangerously out of control, Anne's popularity hardly wavered. Why? Because the public sees her as real, someone who can balance personal flaws with an unshakable devotion to her royal duties. That mix of integrity and honesty has kept her one of the most respected figures in the monarchy. But when it comes to Queen Camilla, things take a sharp turn. Many believe Anne's coolness toward her stems from an old disagreement that was never fully resolved. To this day, tension lingers, and the so-called rivalry between these two powerful royal women refuses to fade. Anne and Camilla may both hold high-ranking positions in the family, but behind palace doors, their relationship remains anything but warm. At first glance, Anne and Camilla's tension might seem puzzling, but once you dig into their past, the reasons become crystal clear and deeply personal. Long before Camilla officially entered the royal fold, she was romantically linked with Andrew Parker Bowles. What many people don't realise is that Andrew had once been at the very centre of Princess Anne's heart. Anne and Andrew shared a powerful connection, one that had all the makings of a lasting love story. For a time, they envisioned a future together, bound by affection and respect. But then came the roadblock that shattered their plans. Andrew was Catholic, while Anne was firmly tied to the Church of England. At that time, strict rules made it impossible for her to marry him. The royal establishment quickly stepped in, and just like that, Anne's relationship with Andrew was cut short. The breakup left her stunned, her hopes suddenly crushed by duty and tradition. That painful chapter has never been forgotten, and it planted the very seeds of the unspoken rivalry between Anne and Camilla. Not long after the heartbreak, Anne's pain was doubled when Andrew Parker Bowles went on to marry Camilla. For Anne, it felt like a betrayal that cut twice as deep. Not only had she lost the man she once dreamed of marrying, but now she was forced to watch him wed a woman from within her own royal circle. It was salt poured directly into an open wound, but the story didn't end there. Far from it. Years later, Camilla's path twisted once more into Anne's world when she married Prince Charles, the very brother of the woman she had already wounded without even realizing it. Suddenly, Anne wasn't just losing Andrew to Camilla. She was watching her step into the heart of her own family, tying herself to the throne. For Anne, it felt like history had cruelly repeated itself. Old scars were ripped open, and what should have been buried in the past came roaring back, leaving her caught in a storm of personal loss, family duty, and unresolved pain. Camilla never truly won Princess Anne's affection, no matter how the royal story unfolded. At the 2005 ceremony, sharp-eyed viewers noticed Anne's cold demeanour. Her stiff posture, distant glances, and frosty silence all spoke volumes. The media wasted no time highlighting these details, interpreting them as a clear sign of Anne's disapproval of the situation. Even as the public gradually warmed to Camilla as the new royal consort, Anne stood firm in her stance. She maintained her closeness to Andrew Parker Bowles throughout her life, so much so that Andrew even became the godfather of her child. Rumours swirled that Camilla harboured anger over Anne's ongoing bond with Andrew, but Anne made it clear she couldn't be bothered by such feelings. Her reasoning was simple and rooted in tradition. Anne believed that being born into the monarchy gave her a higher standing than someone who had merely married into it. For Anne, preserving the royal traditions wasn't optional. It was her mission, and she guarded that heritage with fierce determination. Anne's arrival at King Charles's coronation was nothing short of iconic. Riding in on horseback, dressed head to toe in full military regalia, her entrance wasn't just tradition. It was a bold declaration of power. Every detail of her appearance sent a message. Anne wasn't simply present at the ceremony, she was staking her claim as an unshakable force within the royal hierarchy. Meanwhile, Camilla calmly accepted her crown and the spotlight that came with it, stepping into her role as queen consort at last. But even on her big day, the contrast between the two women couldn't have been clearer. Camilla smiling and celebrated versus Anne commanding respect in silence, her very presence overshadowing those around her. That moment made one thing undeniable. Anne's authority within the family is so solid that not even the king dared challenge her. For Camilla, the path to acceptance had been long and grueling, especially when it came to winning over the public. But Anne's stance reminded everyone that tradition still has its strongest defender. What the people have chosen is not always easy to accept. Camilla has spent years trying to reshape her story, both in the eyes of the public and within the royal family itself. Yet, no matter how hard she has worked to move forward, the shadow of Princess Diana continues to follow her. For many, letting go of the past has been painfully slow. When Camilla first stepped into public view, she was branded the other woman, the figure who had shattered the fairy tale between Prince Charles and Diana. That label clung to her, feeding resentment and disdain. Even after her marriage to Charles in 2005, the wounds remained raw, and the public was reluctant to change their opinion. The drama, heartbreak, and betrayal that defined Diana's story had already scarred the monarchy's image. Diana was the beloved heroine, and her downfall left the nation mourning. In that narrative, Camilla inevitably became the villain. Whether fair or not, she was cast as the woman who destroyed a dream, and rebuilding her image would prove to be one of the hardest battles of her life. But Queen Elizabeth herself remained cautious about their union, and the Church of England stood firmly against it. Much of the opposition stemmed from the fact that Camilla had been divorced, a status that carried heavy stigma in royal tradition. Because of this, Charles and Camilla opted for a civil ceremony, far simpler and more understated than the grand royal weddings the world had come to expect. Although her arrival was not met with warmth, Camilla refused to shrink into the background. Instead, she devoted her efforts to causes that could make a difference, raising awareness about osteoporosis, campaigning for victims of domestic abuse, encouraging literacy, and supporting animal welfare. By focusing her energy on humanitarian work, she began quietly reshaping her image, showing that her presence in the royal family was more than just symbolic. After years of steady work, Camilla's efforts began to show results. Slowly, appreciation replaced hostility, and the sharp edge of public resentment softened. Yet, despite her dedication to worthy causes, she often sensed that no amount of goodwill could erase the shadow of history. Within the palace, rivalries lingered. Many echoed Princess Anne's criticism of Camilla's use of the title Queen, and beyond the palace walls, millions still held fast to Diana's memory. To them, she would always be the people's princess, the Queen of Hearts. Camilla, meanwhile, remained at Charles's side, carrying herself with composure even as whispers, sidelong glances, and undercurrents of unease followed her steps. She had proven her resilience, but the question remains, can she ever truly win the hearts of the people? Or will Diana's legacy forever cast its shadow across her reign? But one thing is certain, Camilla's presence, both within the royal family and in the eyes of the public, continues to spark disagreement and debate. Her ultimate legacy remains uncertain, destined to be as complex and contentious as the path she has already walked. Tensions do not end with Anne. Camilla's relationship with Kate, Princess of Wales, appears equally strained. Is it rooted in rivalry, resentment, or something deeper? The question lingers. Behind the gleaming walls of the royal palaces, where tradition paints a picture of harmony and grace, a quieter truth unfolds. Beneath the polished surface lies an undercurrent of unease, a subtle divide that few dare to speak of. And at the heart of it is the fragile, complicated dynamic between Queen Camilla and Princess Kate. Queen Elizabeth II quickly saw in Kate Middleton a calm, steady young woman, someone who could one day wear the crown with dignity and carry out her duties with grace. From the very beginning, the late Queen seemed to admire Kate's composure, but Queen Camilla's first impression was far less welcoming. According to whispers from palace insiders, Camilla quietly questioned whether Kate could truly handle the relentless pressures of royal life. Though never spoken aloud, her doubts were sensed by those close to the family, a subtle disapproval that hovered in the background. As the years passed, Kate's reputation soared. The public admired her elegance, her poise, and her remarkable ability to balance family with the harsh spotlight of royalty. While Camilla struggled for years to gain affection and acceptance, Kate appeared to win it effortlessly. In the eyes of the people, Kate embodied the very qualities Camilla had long fought to be recognized for: grace, resilience, and the quiet strength of a future queen. There may be no open declaration, yet a quiet rivalry between Kate and Camilla seems undeniable as their public images grow more and more distinct. In a royal court, where every glance, every posture, and every gesture is dissected by both the press and the public, even silence can roar louder than words. The palace, with all its gilded walls and strict traditions, becomes the perfect stage for such unspoken battles. Both Camilla and Kate have mastered the art of diplomacy, presenting polished smiles and courteous words whenever duty calls. Yet beneath the surface, a subtle current of competition lingers, a calm but constant energy that never fully disappears. It is an invisible duel, fought not with confrontation, but with presence, influence, and the quiet struggle for legacy. Much of what truly defines their relationship remains hidden behind palace doors. To the public eye, Kate and Camilla appear polished, gracious, and in step with one another at every royal engagement, smiles bright, words courteous, and gestures carefully measured. Yet beneath the glittering surface lies a quiet strain, a tension that subtly shapes how they interact and how they perform their roles within the monarchy. Their charming grins and polite exchanges mask the weight of unspoken competition. It may never be openly declared, but the rivalry is undeniable. It lingers in each glance, in every silence that stretches too long, and in the posture each woman assumes under the relentless gaze of the world. For many, the shadow of Diana, the eternal Queen of Hearts, remains another invisible thread pulling Kate and Camilla apart, deepening a divide that time has yet to heal. One shadow has never left Buckingham Palace, the ghost of Princess Diana. Her spirit lingers in the grand halls, a constant reminder of the woman whose story reshaped the monarchy forever. For Prince William, she is not just a symbol of the past, but the heart of a painful truth, the collapse of his parents' marriage, a wound that shaped his youth. And at the center of that wound stood Camilla. She entered William's life carrying the weight of history, and when she first faced the young prince, she reportedly felt the full force of it. William was still a teenager, bruised by the turbulence of his parents' bitter split. Camilla knew her presence in that story was unavoidable. Would he see her as the woman who helped destroy Diana's fairy tale, or as someone trying to move forward? The fear of judgment from a boy who had endured so much grief was overwhelming. Every look, every silence seemed heavy with unspoken questions. Though decades have passed, the scars remain etched in memory. For William, Diana's spirit is ever present, and for Camilla, it is the invisible weight she has never been able to set down. The tension between Prince William and Queen Camilla is a quiet storm that has never truly passed. Outwardly, their exchanges appear courteous, professional, an image of unity. But just beneath the surface lies a subtle frost. Observers have noted that while William treats Camilla with respect, there is always a distance, a measured restraint, as though he is guarding something within himself. He never fully relaxes in her presence, as if each interaction is a balancing act on an invisible tightrope stretched between personal pain and royal duty. This delicate chill is not simply about the past, it's about what the future might hold. Behind closed doors, whispers ripple through the palace corridors. What will William do with Camilla once he becomes king? Will he redefine her role? Will he place limits on her influence as queen consort, shaping the monarchy according to his own vision? The unspoken tension between them is more than personal, it's political. And as William edges closer to the throne, this unresolved dynamic could one day alter the very balance of the crown itself. Some believe that when William ascends the throne, he may take steps that could completely redefine Camilla's role in the monarchy, decisions that would alter her authority in ways that remain uncertain. The weight of history hangs between them like a shadow neither can escape. Their relationship is marked by a careful dance of courtesy, restraint, and unspoken tension, one that both maintain but never truly address. This fragile balance has become a source of endless speculation. As William's responsibilities grow and his destiny as king draws nearer, questions linger. Will the scars of the past finally fade, or will they continue to cast a long, disruptive shadow over the crown in ways no one anticipated? And then there is Kate. Her presence in the royal sphere has only intensified this quiet rivalry. Camilla, still haunted by constant comparisons to Diana, the people's princess, finds herself facing yet another figure who embodies compassion, strength, and public devotion. Kate Middleton's remarkable evolution, from a reserved, soft-spoken university student to the poised future Queen of England, remains one of the most captivating modern fairy tales. Her journey is both inspiring and deeply symbolic, a reminder that destiny can unfold in the most unexpected ways. The so-called Kate factor began in 2001, not in the gilded halls of a palace, but in the everyday setting of a St. Andrews University classroom. What started as a simple friendship between Kate and Prince William soon blossomed into something far greater. Their bond, tested by time, distance, and the relentless glare of the public eye, only grew stronger with each passing year. What began as a quiet romance would soon transform into a love story powerful enough to capture the attention of the entire world. Kate's path to royalty was far from easy. She endured breakups, relentless tabloid scrutiny, and the constant weight of the royal family's expectations. Unlike many who married into the monarchy and were immediately thrown into the spotlight with little preparation, Kate's journey was different. She was quietly given what some have called princess training. Over the course of several years, she learned the intricacies of royal protocol, the delicate art of diplomacy, and the resilience required to live every moment under public judgment. This preparation meant that by the time she officially stepped into the royal fold, Kate was not just ready. She was polished, composed, and already carrying herself like the queen she was destined to become. Even though the training Kate went through was intense, it was the very thing that transformed her into the graceful, polished woman who now stands confidently beside her husband as the future queen. Kate's journey wasn't just about learning royal rules, it was about becoming a leader in her own right. Today, she's admired not only as a princess, but as a powerful advocate for causes close to her heart. From championing early childhood education to breaking the silence around mental health, Kate has pushed far beyond the expectations of a royal consort. Her commitment and passion have made her a genuine role model. Many even whisper that she feels like Princess Diana's reincarnation, modern, relatable, yet carrying the same warmth that made Diana the people's princess. Kate embodies the image of a queen who remains down to earth, deeply connected to her roots and respected for her honesty, strength, and sense of duty. It's no wonder people across the globe admire her so fiercely. Kate truly carries the presence of a monarch, yet what sets her apart is not just her royal stature, it is her warmth, her relatability, and her unwavering sense of duty. She has become a beacon of hope, symbolizing renewal and progress within a royal family still navigating the shadows of its past. Through resilience, grace, and a modern approach, Kate has redefined what it means to be a princess in today's world. Thank you for watching. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more royal insights. Until next time, goodbye for now.